Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're looking at some of our favourite times UK journalists embarrassed Americans.
I think that's about as incorrect a characterization of anything I've ever heard.
It was the allegation that was made.
No.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Number 10. Marjorie Taylor Greene on Sky News.
This is a continuance of someone like you to try to push an issue that isn't even relevant, and I think that we're carrying on. Thank you.
Detail of timings and weapons, is that not classified information?
Yes.
For those unaware, Greene is a far-right Republican, controversial for promoting views many consider anti-Semitic and white supremacist. She's a strong advocate for executing the Democrats, implying she probably considers herself America's Robespierre. Recently, in an interview with Sky News, Greene got ridiculously outraged over a reporter asking her about leaked texts.
What country are you
From the UK.
Okay, we don't give a crap about your opinion and your reporting. Why don't you go back to your country?
Instead of answering the question, she just belittled her for being British.
Do you care about American lives being put at risk? About service members fighting for your country?
I don't care about
and
your
your vice
fake news.
president
Do you have
and your
any
defense secretary?
Yeah, this is an American journalist. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm an American, and I'd like to hear your answer to what she's asked.
When an American steps in, she decides to respond, but with a classic politician dodge that says loads without meaning anything. She did not come out of this looking like a politician at all.
A journalist is being vilified for exposing failings in the way that your government conducts itself. Is that not that journalist doing a good job?
Number 9. Krishnan Guru-Murthy's Tarantino interview. We honestly side with Tarantino on this one, but he undeniably had his buttons pushed to the point he was red in the face. He is, of course, one of America's most famous directors, famous for films like Pulp Fiction and Django Unchained.
But why are you so sure that there's no link between enjoying movie violence and enjoying real violence?
I'm going to tell you why I'm so sure. Do not ask me a question like that. I'm not biting. I refuse your question.
Why?
Because I refuse your question. I'm not your slave and you're not my master.
The latter led to a rather heated interview between Guru-Murthy and himself. The topic turned to whether or not movie violence influences real-life violence. Some argue it's a valid question, with Tarantino having a reputation for violence.
I don't want to talk about what you want to talk about. I don't want to talk about the implications of violence. I haven't wanted, because the reason I don't want to talk about it is because I've said everything I have to say about it.
The director didn't take it too well, so much that he straight up refused to answer. Like most entries on this list, the American starts to talk over the interviewer.
I have explained this many times in the last 20 years. I just refuse to repeat myself over and over again because you want me to. For you and your show and your rating.
Justified or embarrassing? What's your take? Number 8. Emily Mateless versus Sean Spicer.
Did that tell you anything about your man that you didn't previously know?
Well, I think we've all said things in private, which that are inappropriate.
Mateless was the lead anchor for Newsnight until 2021, a role that landed her tons of major interviews, such as the notorious Prince Andrew incident. Today, we'll instead be discussing her incident with Sean Spicer, another one of Donald Trump's supporters. Well, until he resigned after making false claims. One was that Trump's inauguration was the biggest ever, when it wasn't.
Well, first of all, to your point, I appreciate the stroll down memory lane in the clip. I'm very clear in the book that if there's a day that I think I would love a do-over on, it's that one. I set the die on that day for a lot of what was to come.
This and more are mentioned in Mateless's interview, with Spicer gradually turning into a bumbling fool. It was all to sell his book, but with how the interview went, it's safe to say it didn't become a UK bestseller.
It became a joke. It became something that defined you. You joked about it when you presented the Emmy Awards. But it wasn't a joke. It was the start of the most corrosive culture. You played with the truth.
Number 7. Martin Bashir's Michael Jackson interview.
Is that really appropriate for a man, a grown man, to be doing that? How do you respond to that?
I feel sorry for them because that's judging someone who wants to really help people.
Bashir rose to fame when he interviewed Diana in 1995, which was acquired under false pretenses, destroying his reputation later on. Bashir's other most famous interview was with Michael Jackson. In 2003, a landmark documentary came to TV screens, revealing tons about Michael Jackson's personal life.
When Gavin was there, he talked about the fact that he shares your bedroom. Yes. Can you understand why people would worry about that?
Unfortunately for the King of Pop, it was far from a flattering depiction. Its release was one of the biggest controversies in Jackson's life, with many slamming Bashier for his harsh humiliation of Jackson.
God knows in my heart how much I adore children.
But isn't that precisely the problem, that when you actually invite children into your bed, you never know what's going to happen?
But when you say bed, you're thinking sexual.
Bashier retired from journalism in 2021, apparently because of poor health, but it was probably from public backlash. Number 6. Jeremy Paxman's Bill Gates interview. Microsoft's founder is one of the planet's wealthiest men, having a net worth beyond $100 billion.
If you go back far enough, everybody was poor, and so if
This garnered serious criticism from Paxman in a historic Newsnight interview. The topic was specifically wealth inequality, something worth asking Gates, who has more wealth than billions of humans. Once again, Paxman proved himself to be one of Britain's best journalists. He never shies away from asking the big questions, which puts a lot of pressure on the billionaire.
You could completely alter the picture of the world if you went for a genuine redistributive mechanism in taxation.
You mean like North Korea?
No, I don't mean like North Korea. I mean by democratic consent.
One topic was Microsoft shifting income through Puerto Rico to avoid taxes. At the time, it was considered technically legal, but years later, a judge ruled otherwise, telling them they needed to cough up all they avoided paying.
It's not that Microsoft didn't pay taxes, it's that they could have paid more taxes.
Voluntarily?
Yes, by choosing to organise their affairs differently rather than running them through Puerto Rico.
Number 5. Marjorie Taylor Greene clashes with Emily Mateless.
We've been encouraging her to drop out and support President Trump.
If you are aware of Greene's attitude, you're probably not surprised to see her on here a second time. As we've already mentioned, she loves a good conspiracy theory. For example, she believes 9/11 to have been a hoax. One of the UK's most known journalists, Emily Mateless, decided to ask her about these beliefs.
And can you tell me why so many people that support Donald Trump love conspiracy theories, including yourself? He seems to attract lots of conspiracy theorists.
Well, let me tell you.
Things started amicably, but the conspiracy questions brought out the rude side of her. Mateless's handling of the situation shows just how experienced an interviewer she is, thanking Greene for her time despite her comments.
So, what about Jewish space lasers? Tell us about Jewish space lasers.
No, why don't you go talk about Jewish space lasers, and really, why don't you off?
Number 4. Krishnan Guru-Murthy interviews Robert Downey Jr. One of Channel 4's top anchors makes our list again, this time for the time he asked Robert Downey Jr. about his past life.
And I don't know how comfortable you are, talking about yourself at the moment.
You have as much time as anyone else will.
Now known as Iron Man, the star had a fairly tumultuous period before joining Marvel. Guru-Murthy wanted to ask serious questions, but all RDJ was there for was promoting his movie. It went so badly for him. He called him a bottom-feeding muckraker.
Well, I'm just asking questions, that's all.
Right.
I mean,
okay. Bye.
In fairness, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is family-friendly, unlike RDJ's past, so you could argue it wasn't relevant. Hence, many think Guru-Murthy should have backed off with all the private questions.
Just getting a little dinosaur in your...
No, look, I don't want to do...
Number 3. Piers Morgan versus Alex Jones. While few Brits have a positive opinion of Morgan, Alex Jones is an even less liked figure. Not the Welsh one, for clarification, but the US conspiracy theorist.
Hugo Chavez took the guns, and I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearm.
In 2013, the two came head-to-head on Morgan's CNN series, which got as heated as anyone could expect. The topic that got Jones riled up was gun control, causing him to get hilariously angry.
How many gun murders were there in Britain?
How many great white sharks?
No, how many
kill people every year, but they're scared to swim?
Right. How many gun murders were there in Britain?
A very low amount. I already went over those
How
statistics.
Many?
In fairness, Morgan did little to elicit that reaction, with Jones dominating the interview. It's particularly notable for being a rare occasion when Morgan isn't the rudest person in the room.
Do you know the answer?
No, I don't.
You said hundreds.
It's very low.
You said hundreds?
Yes.
It's actually 35.
Number 2. Andrew Neil challenges Ben Shapiro.
Your side of politics would seem to take us back to the Dark Ages, Georgia, new abortion laws, which you are much in favour of, that A woman who miscarries could get 30 years.
Shapiro is one of America's most prolific conservatives, with a reputation for shutting down opponents with his Shapiro zingers. He met his match in 2019 when he was interviewed by Andrew Neil on the BBC, who humiliated him so badly, Shapiro even apologised. Things went so badly for Shapiro that he cut the interview short, storming out in a huff.
Why don't you just say that you're on the left? Is this so hard for you? Why can't you just be honest?
Mr.
Seriously,
Shapiro,
it's a serious question.
Mr. Shapiro, if you only knew how ridiculous that statement is, you wouldn't have said it.
He was embarrassed so much that Shapiro excused himself afterward for his behaviour, a first for the political commentator. It highlights major cultural differences between America and Britain, with Neil remaining calm and well-mannered, while Shapiro descends into a temper.
It's an interesting book. But my point is, your book claims that
Well, it'd be nice if you would quote it from time to time.
Your book is, well, actually, I've done so several times, and I'm about to do so again, if you would let me just finish the question. Your book
frankly, I don't
claims
think
that society
honestly,
is turning its back.
Sir.
Number 1. David Frost's Nixon interviews.
But looking back on it now, don't you wish you'd destroyed them?
Frost became one of Britain's best-known journalists after interviewing Nixon in 1977. It was the first time the former president returned to the public eye. These interviews were so historic, they inspired a play in 2006, and then a movie based on that. It was meant to make Nixon likeable again, after the monumental blunder that was Watergate.
He said, you know, LBJ, he never likes to be number 2.
More than 45 million people tuned in, making it the most viewed political interview in human history. Unfortunately for the former president, most people found it dishonest, with Nixon trying to hide his mistake.
As a matter of fact, did you know that one of Mao's sons was killed in Korea, fighting Americans? He never mentioned it to me.
On the bright side, he got a huge paycheck, getting $600,000 from Frost's funds. Were there any particularly funny incidents we forgot to include? Let us know in the comment section.